Welcome, Reap Smite fans, to the Reap Smite League. I am Black Screen alongside my friend Two Dog. I'm just kidding. I'm actually Killjoy, and I'm back now, just like that. I promise I didn't do that on purpose. Just sometimes happens to work that way with a camera, you know. But Two Dog, 1-0 start here for Clearly Hacking, and going into game number 2. We are in those picks and bans right now. What do you want to see Curse Cowboys change up?
First Cowboys, we explained right before the break, get rid of the Cthulhu's. You don't need if you want to deal with two of them, then get rid of one. And I think you just get rid of the big one. I don't think KY showed a lot of prowess on that the Morgan, except when they were the Cthulhu. So you just gotta maneuver around a little bit. And if you're clearly hacking, just go with the same draft and you probably win the game again.
This time Clearly Hacking is in that first slot pick, so you got to imagine some of the bands might change. Maybe Clearly Hacking's like, we'll take the Gem this time if it's open, or maybe they give Amish the Ymir bag. You know, don't hate either one of those choices. First adjustment though in this game is going to be the Odin. Loshak played it game number 1. He's going to go ahead and be banned out by his own team game number 2, which I thought he looked good on.
He looked good on it, but I think he made too many rotations, and then also he wasn't really building tanky with it. Maybe that's a great adjustment. Maybe if you can't play the Odin, get rid of the Odin. As the Athena ban here, Athena ban's been falling off quite often, quite recently. Usually she makes it all the way through the picks and bans. Maybe this is a throwaway ban trying to get 2 of the top 3 picks left, which is like a Persephone, a Cthulhu from last game. Even Geb is so up.
I know that Amish also has an Athena, and this is usually a direct ban towards him. And Curse Cowboys just don't want to deal with it at this point in time. Another switch up in game number 2 here is the Morrigan being banned out that we talked about. If you're going to take off one of these, maybe take off the big one or just take off the secondary one. They're going to go ahead and elect to do the latter. Morgan banned out alongside the Tiamat. Taz played it last game, and I guess Curly Hacking thought it looked pretty good. They're going to remove it from this one.
Yeah, Taz looked like one of the best players on his team last game. And then getting rid of the Morgan, maybe you're looking at trying to just pick up the Geb. So you're like, I'm going to pick Geb, but now you can't have 2 Cthulhu's in the next pick.
True, but they could look to do that Ymir Cthulhu that Clearly Hacking had run in game number 1. Doesn't look like they're going to start there, as the Thoth is what's hovered for Clearly Hacking, putting Taz maybe on something a little bit more unorthodox, we'll say, to start off these picks and bans. I can't imagine you to go there, but they did take away that Geb from um, Alex the First, who is in game number 1. Game number 2 looks like Lucio is going to be back in for the moment. Could potentially still be out. Sounds like it is still going to be Alex in that support role, who I still thought looked really good on the Geb. So maybe they're going to try to take out this support player here in this game.
Tremble
Yeah,
beneath the
they're probably looking to
waves,
take out the
none will
support player
free
here,
my
but
grasp.
Yamoja's locked in with Persephone. Hey, if you can't see the Persephone ult coming in because you're trapped in the Yamoja ult, that's going to be fun. How can you dodge something you don't see coming? And KY last week pulled out the Thoth, looked really great on it, but they were playing against a Hell this week. I want to see why they're picking the Thoth into a Yamoja Persephone. There's a lot of unanswered potential there. Persephone can ult you and you're trapped. Yamoja can catch you with the 3. She can ult you, keep you inside of it. Your dash can be as long as the ult, but
Face
if you
the
can't
wrath
get out
of
on
the
either side, there's no
sorceress
point. As
scorned.
Morgan Le Fay gets picked up here, makes a lot more sense than the into the Persephone and the Yamoja, but she can still get locked down pretty easily by the comp so far presented by Curse Cowboys.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. And I do like this top 2 that Curse Cowboys have gone. Yamoja, Persephone, very, very strong. We'll get to see if Alex has Yamoja. I'm excited. This is one of those guys where it's like you either look fantastic on Yamoja or you're not going to look too hot. There's not really an in
I am the
between just because of
terror
how
of the
big that
depths.
skill gap is going to be. Charybdis going to be locked in here for Clearly Hacking. Mass going to go play the newer Hunter to the lane. And how do you feel about Charybdis currently in her current state as well as competitive meta?
Uh, she's gonna be okay when to a highly dive comp, like, or you just when you see a wall, like a wall character like Yamoja, Ymir, Thor, you can just go underneath it, and just come out on the other side. You can ult to get out of Persephone ult. There's a lot of answers Charybdis has against their team right now. Viability wise, I don't think you top 3 pick it because I don't really see many people play it. As the Yorm gets picked up here, one character that you don't really want to deal with when you're chairing is the Yorm. And Loshak, he's pulling out one of his signature picks. The Yorm is being picked up here. He loves to run it. And if you're chairing, How are you going to get that pick off of you? I don't know.
Yeah, it just sounds like not a lot of fun. If Jormungandr just chased him through the World Serpent Ultimate, just jumping on top of you, even though you're under the ground. It's like, I'm just going to keep following you at this point. Good luck trying to get away. Weird top threes from both teams, you know. Clearly, Hacking's got Geb and Morgan Le Fay, two that synergize pretty well. And then Charybdis, who's still kind of yet to be proven into a lot of these comps. We've seen a little bit in the SPL and a little bit here in the RSL with a couple of players playing her. And on the Cursed Cowboys, Emoji Persephone, you see them all the time. Then there's all of a sudden Jormungandr over here. Granted, it is Loshak piloted it, so it makes a little bit more sense. But, you know, off these top three comps, which ones are you kind of leaning towards?
I'm leaning towards the Cursed Cowboys because Morgan Le Fay doesn't have every answer to the Persephone Yemoja, and the Yorm can just chase Charybdis. Oh, you're trying to run away this way? I'm going to chase you that direction. Oh, you're under the ground? I can go under the ground, but we're just going to be staring at each other. And as soon as you come out, I come out, you're back knocked up. You ult, you can't even push him away, so you have to ult at your feet. She just stays, he just stays on top of you. You're gonna have to rely a lot on the Geb for both those carries, and then there's the Hunbats.
The Hunbats coming back through after the picks and bans. Wilkes Achilles taken away from Cursed Cowboys. Rom and Chiron banned up by Clearly Hacking, which means Vile's going to have to go somewhere else into his god pool here on. And you were starting to talk about the Hunbats, and they're going to go ahead and take it away from Clearly Hacking this time. Cursed Cowboys putting it in the hands of Sneaky Dream.
Yeah, Hunbats. Sneaky Dream looked really good on characters last week. Hunbats last week. Got like one of the only kills for his team last week. He can play this pick, but there's a lot of not answers to the Hunbats. Geb only has so many shields. Who can he shield out of a Persephone ult? And then the Guan Yu Daji here. Can a Hunbats get away from a Daji? Because he doesn't have a CC immune ult. She has a CC immune ult, but if she's not fast enough on that 4, then she's in trouble. It's going to be a lot of cat and mouse game between those two if they ever find each other in the jungle. And then Guan Yu, Yorm can't stop the Talu Assault, so Yorm is going to be in a lot of trouble in that solo lane.
This Clearly Hacking draft that they've come up with now seems a little bit more reactive than what Cursed Cowboys had in game number 1, where they were the ones that kind of had this reactive style of draft. As the Medusa is going to be the 10th pick here for the Cursed Cowboys to go to the hands of Vile. You talked a little bit about that last game being the Rom and the Viable, or Rom and the Medusa. Pretty much, they're all just Vile, honestly, at this point. I mean, he loves those picks. You know, just name him, just rename them in the game. He's got those two picks very interchangeable, as you had mentioned the last game. He's going to lean towards this Medusa here in this game. And again, these reactive style drafts, I think Clearly Hackings is going to start looking a little bit better than Cursed Cowboys.
Yeah, I like the Clearly Hacking draft. They have a lot more CC burn off of lack of CC immune ults. Yemoja doesn't have one. Persephone got to use her ult, but that's also a reaction thing. There's a lot of reactionary ults that Cursed Cowboys has got to have. Yorm just has to go up in the air and go down, but if he gets stunned by a horse or he gets stunned by the Powwow from Daji, like Daji can't pull Yorm in, but she can stun him in place. There's a lot of answers to the Cursed Cowboys comp, so I like Clearly Hacking's draft. Morgan Le Fay is my biggest worry about the draft. But other than that, I don't see Cursed Cowboys pulling a lot of weight out of it. Like Yemoja, yeah, who are you really trapping? You're trapping a Morgan Le Fay. She just hits 4. She just starts wailing out. It relies all on one thing, and I don't see Cursed Cowboys pulling off after last game.
We'll have to find out if they're able to pull it off. Let's get right on into game number 2 between Clearly Hacking and Cursed Cowboys. The teams flip sides, able to walk right back in. I saw 5 hogs, I think it was. Both supports had it. Guan Yu also had it. So did Loshak, and Sneaky Dream has one themselves. That's a lot of hogs. And we talked about it in game 1. I was like, we don't always need to use Brace Round Red because the timers are so low.
Yeah, the timers are so low, but also I want to point out, like, there's 4 beads and then a teleport from Loshak. So, like, all selfish relics for the Cursed Cowboys. I would go selfish relics too into a Daji, Geb, and then a Cherry and a Guan Yu. But on the other hand, Clearly Hacking, they got 2 blinks. They all got selfish relics still too. But they're not as worried about the CC coming out of Cursed Cowboys as Cursed Cowboys is of them.
Taz taking a lot of damage. Fear also going to connect on top of him, trying to see if Kojo potentially wants to go in dual lanes. It's going to be pretty back and forth here. Medusa and Yamoja, a lot of aggression. Charybdis and Geb, not as much pressure as you would think. So they're going to have to just give up a little bit more of this wave and some of these alpha harpies.
Yeah, I think Cherry doesn't get a lot of pressure early, but you can just play safe. Curse Cowboys is getting the dual lane pressure, which is vice versa from last game, but not a lot to show for it. Not first blood within the first minute of the game, like Curse clearly hacking did last game. And then Daji's also pushing way up on that right side, forcing Humbet's back.
You got clearly hacking and Curse Cowboys are doing in this game, right? Like the rules are kind of switched up. Curse Cowboys are like, all right, cool, we're gonna take this pressure here in the dual lane. Hacking's all right, cool, we're gonna start pressuring up the jungle now, because if you remember, it was a little bit more reversed in this game, and this is a better start for Curse Cowboys as well in this dual lane matchup. You remember, as you mentioned briefly, they did fall very early on in game number 1. So having a second range character might help to keep this pressure up, especially with that range character being a Yamoja. Now clearly Hacking are the ones with pressure just after one more wave.
Yeah, and also clearly Hacking's looking for this red buff invade on the Humbets.
Gonna try to go ahead and get it. Fear not gonna connect on top of Sneaky Dream. Will have to force him back. Red confirmed for the Cursed Cowboys to be able to return back to their normal farming TV stations today and just flip over to the next channel of the speed buff.
But clearly Hacking's still going for that purple buff invade. So Cursed Cowboys may have got the early pressure in dual lane, but they didn't get the 2-minute respawn timer pressure. And that's going to be a big dividends to this Cursed Cowboys comp.
Keep Vile down once more as Kojonas has fallen very, very low. Just going to be able to take out the Oracle just barely. So now they'll have that Scorpion vision when it spawns here in about 2 minutes. Taking a glimpse of that Soul Lane, Goose has essentially no health right now, and he's just kind of hanging out, and Loshak has all the health in the world, just not a lot of mana. So he's going to be able to keep the Goose pretty much pressured out underneath his tower for the moment in time. Could potentially see another a solo kill over here in the Soul Lane if this is how this lane continues to go.
Loshak keeps pushing Goose under tower, but Goose has a lead, and he still has a lead after Loshak got the blue buff. As we see, probably a solo kill coming out of Loshak.
And he doesn't have the mana for it. He finally gets ticked over to level 5. Goose hanging out underneath the tower. Loshak gonna try to step up and go straight underneath it. Finds the spit, and the solo kill will go to the Loshak here for first blood in game number 2. Looks like Goose is trying to just bait out his back a little bit longer for Kajonas to come back over, but it wasn't quite well enough. Loshak not letting the Goose toy with them that long.
Goose toyed with him a little too long, and Loshak said, my kill, first blood, I got 500 gold on you now. But Cursed Cowboys is only 400 gold ahead. There's not a lot of pressuring going around the map right now. Clearly Hacking, they're doing a pretty good job as Daji gets jumped on.
Fear No Evil comes out, as is Taz's ultimate, going to be able to pick up Kajonas with that immediate burst damage. Val dashes straight in on a BMS, trying to put the extra damage in as the beads were used to try to get him away from that that slow off the route from Medusa, and he'll be able to live for the moment and head back to base. He'll be very careful. Bluestone this time is the starter item of choice for Cursed Cowboys ADC.
Yeah, he loves that Bluestone into the Crusher for Medusa. He plays it. It's a very great build for late game. It destroys people's health bars late game. But at the same time, in that fight there, Daji, she's still not level 5. That's her safety net against this Hunbat, and she wasn't level 5. It probably had something to do with where she was coming from, the mid camps. They probably stole it from her and then killed her because they hit level 5 and she didn't. And then Cherry goes over there, tries to get her out of there. He ults. And he may have hit it, but he didn't really get the kill. When he went back to lane, he loses his beads because Medusa's like, oh, look, you're coming back over. I'm just going to dash you.
The return solo kill here now from the Goose is Loshak diving underneath that tier 1 tower, trying to find a second solo kill. Won't be enough for him, so he's gonna take a trip back to the fountain after getting a little overconfident right there and having to take one too many tower shots. Mush was making the rotation over to make sure the Goose had lived with one of those Geb shields, but You know, really good turnaround here now for Clearly Hacking. They finally get a kill on the board for themselves in that solo lane. And hey, you know, that's where the first blood started, so it feels good getting a return kill.
Yeah, that's a great return kill. Loshak needs to calm it down a little bit. I know this is your old team. You wanna carry your team to a victory to show them that they made a mistake dropping you, but you also still got to play smart. As we see a Cataclysm come out from Amish.
Almost going to drop Cataclysm. River's Rebuke on top of it now. KY will snipe out Taz. And the Fear No Evil has brought down KY super low. Alex will find the kill on the KY mid laner falling down. Daji chasing out Sneaky Dream and Kajonas credited with that kill. And now it's just the supports left in the mid lane after all of the ults being used in the mid 3v3.
Great fight for Clearly Hacking. Great fight for him. It was a nice 2-for-2. But as Loshak get turned on here,
he's going to find the solo kill. Could potentially get two of them, and Misov's going to look for it under the tower. Not going to find it quite yet. Has to leave somewhere to go to the back end of the towers right now and start channeling his back. If Jonah jumps him in on him, he will end up dying, so he can't go in by himself. Amish going to roll forward, try to catch him, won't find it, but Matt's going to get a second solo kill on Vile here in this set. ADC will fall now for Curse Cowboys after what happened to be really good for Curse Cowboys. If Loshak winning a 2v1, it's going to start being neutralized out once more.
hey, this game is looking a lot more like Arena. There's just non-stop fighting all the way across the map. And then getting a solo kill there for BMS, that's going to be huge against this Medusa. Because Medusa wants to all-in you, but if she's behind, she can't all-in you. And Cherry does a very good job at not letting you all-in her too. So it's looking even worse for Vile. The lanes that you were getting kills in are now behind. You got to start trying to find a place to go, like Sneaky Dream invading this purple buff, helping your carry out, trying to keep him in the game. Loshak's got a level lead, and everywhere else it's relatively even. But Cherry's going to do more in the late game fight than maybe your Medusa will.
I love that play by Sneaky too. You know, just rotates over to that purple buff, make sure he takes it out, and keeps Vile from, you know, not falling too far behind, because now BMS won't have that purple buff on that pullback through. I'm just going to find a knockup through the wall on top of Alex, and KY is going for the ultimate damage. Trying to find a little bit more. Cataclysm on top of Taz, bringing him very, very low, and he will end up falling to KY off the one to be able to take that kill, and now KY is able to just remove the grass that was on her and walk away safely.
First Cowboys keep overextending. Like, you know where Sneaky Dream was? He was on the left side of the map taking the purple buff. It seems like Cursed Cowboys, they don't really got a lot of wards out there, and it keeps punishing them. Like, they're not showing up too much. They're walking in the jungle by themselves. Maybe Alex is only there with you, but there's still a Geb. There's still Geb. There's still a Morgan Le Fay and a Daji. I would not want to be in a jungle by myself.
Oh, definitely not. Yeah, that sounds like a terrible idea. Just walking in somewhere where all of those characters are. Even both sides mid 3v3s. I wouldn't want to be showing up as now Jonas being chased out by Sneaky Dream. Fear No Evil is going to slow down the Daji. A lot of damage coming out top. Both Clearly Hacking members are very, very low. Mask's going to find another solo kill on the other side of the map. Vile will fall. Goose will make it out with just a sliver of health. Couldn't have been more than 100.
Hey, that stun didn't come out. Both of them died there. That was a good stun coming out from the Goose, saving one of the two. If he didn't do that, they both die, and it's not going to look very good for Clearly Hacking. But one is better than two, and he still gets his blue buff right where his jungler died.
Taz getting caught up a little bit on the corner right there. KY putting a lot of damage in with the help of Amish. Can bring them to about half health, trying to find any more farms we can on this Persephone pick as Alex is starting to make their way back into the mid lane. In this mid v3v3 we talked about last game being so detrimental. This game, it hasn't been proven to be too much work for either of them. They're more focusing out on these side lanes. I mean, we talked the dual lane matchup. Mask starting to walk it by a little bit more, and a lot of presence has been shown in this solo lane because Loshak has been all over Goose.
Yeah, Loshak is saying, look, I'm better out of the two, but the team fight that Clearly Hacking has is going really well. Medusa was supposed to own the Charybdis early on, and he's down 2 levels. Gab's got 2 levels on Yamoja. Your dual lane is falling far behind. Maybe it's due because you have a sub. But, you know, as they look to pressure these people out, Dodgy's in her ult, misses.
Not going to connect with the pal, trying to find a couple extra damage. Gold Scorpion was knocked down by clearly hacking, so the Gold Fury will be starting to respawn, which is exactly where you expect them to go. You know, their dual lane has the pressure, so take it to the objective that's nearby. Now, I wouldn't be surprised to see Curse Cowboys do the opposite and go to the Fire Giant side and start taking out the Pyromancer for this first Gold Fury. Looks like clearly hacking's the one they're trying to get aggressive. Morgan going into the ultimate right now. Rivers Rebuke on the back end of things, trying to lock down the mid 3v3 of the hacking. The beautiful Persephone ultimate's going to bring him right back through. Fear No Evil on top of Amish, going to bring him very, very low. That VM Mask going to be able to slow up Sneaky Dream, but a beautiful ult from Vile Artist is going to connect and going to be able to pick up Kojonas on the back end of things. Now clearly hacking. The ones that are starting to walk away as they've lost 2 here and now starting up the Gold Fury, but Mask and KY not done quite yet. Still nearby. Neither of them have ultimates anywhere near this side of the map. Miles is one tanking, taking a lot of damage, and KY is going to pick him up with a nice little combo from the 2 of Mask as well as her 1 to be able to walk away. Now that Gold Fury is not going anywhere.
That was a great fight for Cursed Cowboys, but if your tank can't tank the Gold Fury and they still have their 2 carries left alive, I really don't see a reason to pull that gold. You had a great fight. That's a fight you needed to take. But to overextend for it and to lose one of your carries who's already behind enough, as we see the Goose jump on his horse looking for the snake.
Trying to get Loshak a little bit lower, but I don't know if that's the play, my friend. You're very, very low. Sure, you have a lot of mana and he doesn't, but that's a Jormungandr. He could just auto-attack you straight down to grayscale, so you have to be very careful that you don't lose your life to this blue buff. Could be very, very low. Those ghost minions are going to chase. You got to be careful, my friend. They're going to be the ones that spell your demise. He started his back on the T2 tower. We'll see if Sneaky or Loshak notice. Doesn't look like either of them had noticed it at that point in time, and now Amish looks like he wants to get aggressive. Does have the blink ready and available. Could look to get a little bit more aggressive in the mid lane. He's going to go ahead and start rolling out around that tower, but very close there from Goose.
BMS is chasing this Vile Artist here. He's looking to zone this Medusa. He's got his entire team there for this purple and buff invade.
Purple buff invade or gold take is what is on the docket now for clearly hacking the group up. Big Cataclysm is going to keep Alex in place. They're going to try to force out the Rivers Rebuke or the Light him as well. Kajona's brought very, very low, but made it up to the Palo to try to pull somebody back in. Not going to connect quite yet. But Goose is here and has the horse available, and there he goes straight towards the back line. But Loshak already in the back line of clearly hacking, starting to do his damage on this Jormungandr. Is going to make them disperse quite a bit. I'm just going to start taking a little bit of damage from Gold Fury. The rest of clearly hacking is trying to find a way to group back up. Sneaky Dream does not have their ultimates. No Fear, No Evil to separate this fight quite yet. Needs to be a full disengage from clearly hacking as Cursed Cowboys are still walking forward, trying to find anybody else. Big ultimate from the Jormungandr now coming inside. Rivers Rebuke are now finally dropped inside of this tower, and that should spell the end of the Goose. Medusa picks up that kill. Kajonas returns a kill on top of Sneaky Dream in the backline. Mask trying to take out this Jormungandr, but doesn't look like it's going to happen. Has to use the Aegis to keep himself alive, but Loshak now, the one that's going to fall to Kajona, is clearly hacking. Have 2 kills on the Cursed Cowboys, who've been chasing far too long, only losing 1, which is their sole laner. Cursed Cowboys now the ones on the retreat.
That was a great fight for clearly hacking until they started getting tower dove. And then Loshak then overextended, and Cursed Cowboys then lose 2 members just for a simple tower. He didn't have to go all the way to the tier 2. He could have just relaxed just outside the tier 1. Would have been able to have his reinforcement there instantly. As I think clearly hacking here is going to look to try to pull this Gold Fury, because they know Cursed Cowboys may have back.
Have to be careful if they step up as well. Val not having an Artemis. Taz does have his. He's over on that red buff, so not really good steal potential quite yet, besides maybe Alex or a spit from Vile. Vile's stepping way far forward. Palau's up in the air now, is grabbed on top of Vile. Half health already. He's got 3 with those chains, but these are coming out from Taz. And Coach is going to pick up the first kill. Fear No Evil right on top of the Persephone ultimate to try to do a little bit more damage for the Cursed Cowboys. Now they're the ones stepping forward as they clearly hacking has managed to get Kajonas out of this fight, and they're able to start backing up, but they have to be careful because Loshak's under the ground. He doesn't quite connect on top of Amish. They have enough pressure they could return to look for this Gold Fury without their ADC.
Another good fight for Cursed Cowboys. Like, they get the pick on Vile Artist, But clearly hacking also got a pick in return. This is right now the game of who can not overstay the longest. As Cataclysm come out from Amish, looks like he's in trouble.
Gets knocked up once more, and he's going to fall to Low Shack, getting another kill on this Jormungandr. 4-2, looking good out of the solo. Needs to be careful. Now wants to keep diving a little bit farther, but he's going to start going towards the Gold Fury now. KY looking for the back, and Masks is on the recipient end of Low Shack coming out of the ground now. And once he comes out, he'll be putting a lot of damage. Knockup's going to keep him out of the two for the moment, bringing a lot of damage low. Sunder on top of things as well. Mass has got to leave this fight. There's no way you're stepping up to steal this Gold Fury, my friend, but your team might be able to. Here's Cowboys going to confirm the Gold Fury, but Kajonas is going to pick up a kill on the back end of things. Rivers Rebuke will help find that kill onto the jungle. The clearly hacking is now the rest of them. KY has to just run away. The Sunder comes out from Low Shack, means he doesn't want to stop this chase. Great here from KY to kind of peel themselves out for just a bit longer. Vile going to try to connect with Medusa Ultimate, not quite in range, and Amish is made his way back into it. No Cataclysm for him here quite yet. Here once more on top of Low Shack, going to slow him down just a little bit longer. Knockup's not going to connect to slow him down any farther, and that'll be the end for Curtis. Cowboys are going to get out.
Like I said earlier, it's a game of overstaying, and people just keep overstaying. And Low Shack, he overstayed on that Charybdis, where the Clearly Hacking had two people flank all the way around because they had that much time because of how long he was zoning just one person. They get a kill on Sneaky Dream, almost get the Gold Fury. If they would have got the Gold Fury, that would have been a lot of problems from the Soul Laner for how long he was zoning the Charybdis. As Taz bleeds, gets forced out by a Cataclysm.
Beautiful from Taz to go ahead and make sure Amish doesn't get anything else. Fear No Evil now on top of KY. Geb Shield as well as the ultimate to keep KY alive as long as they possibly can. Goose taking some damage from Low Shack as they both make their way into the mid lane, but Jonas is the one that's still lurking on that right side, potentially trying to find their way in to this mid scuffle, as we'll call it for right now. As it's kind of not really a fight, and it's also kind of not really we're going to stand here and farm, we're going to hit you a little bit and try to take out this tower, which will fall now. Here's Cowboys starting to edge themselves out of lead.
Curse Cowboys is edging themselves out of lead, but they also have not taken the Fire Scorpion. They had a lead for how long over here? For a good 18 minutes over here in this solo lane. And then finally touching the Fire Scorp. Now Clearly Hacking is able to get their ADC, who's ahead of Vile, to come over there and contest a Pyro or a Fire Giant. Yeah, Low Shack rotated, but last game, when Low Shack, who was behind, rotated to the Gold Fury, Goose just stayed and said, I'm going to get 3 levels on you. This time, Low Shack is rotating. Goose is also rotating. But Goose is getting a lot of assists. Or he's only got 1 kill, 1 assist. But he's also farming on his way to fights. He caught up to him in these few fights. Low Shack may be top of the damage charts. He may be doing a lot for his team, but he's not farming up like Goose.
Definitely not. Now the blink from Goose goes to the back line. Just going to run straight at Vile Artist, who has no help quite yet. Alex finally making their way back over there. Low Shack now in the back line. Fear No Evil on top of it. The dive is so strong right now. The Cursed Cowboys. Mask will find Sneaky Dream, and Low Shack will find KY, but Low Shack's going to come out of the ground in a very bad spot. True Assault's going to connect, and Kojonas will be credited with the kill. 2 picks now for Clearly Hacking, where only 1 happened. The Cursed Cowboys could look for this Pyromancer, but they're going to go straight back in. Kojonas now up into the Palo, gets 2 with 1 shot there. Beads forced out of Taz, Beads forced out of Vile, and they're going to keep backing their way up. Rivers Rebuke from Alex is going to find a beautiful stun on the end of it too. Oh my goodness, big Vile Artist ult right here. That's going to help this side turn quite a lot. Vile's going to pick up Mask right now, and he's in the fight trying to take out Kojonas. We'll get that. The bleed not going to take him out just quite yet, as a little bit of help from will finish out that kill. Alex and Taz, the only 2 left alive for Cursed Cowboys, with Clearly Hacking has their solo and support. As they just forced out from the Goose coming off the horse. They're going to be able to run away now. Quite a lot of trades happening there.
The initial dive, both Low Shack and Sneaky Dream died for it. But the reason why Goose isn't dying, where's the anti-heal? There's no anti-heal on Taz. The only anti-heal you really have is the dash from Medusa. So he can tank a lot longer than Low Shack and Sneaky Dream. And Sneaky Dream's got to tank everything because he's the one that's got to dive. And Low Shack's just diving as a gigantic inanimate object in the game. And Sneaky Dream's by himself back there, the only one that they can touch. So he's dying, and then the Snake's going to die afterwards from the Geb and all the CC that's going to come out after he's done. And then they turn back, and then it was a 2-for-1 trade on a 3v4. Great trades from the Cursed Cowboys, that the 3 backliners getting 2 kills there. It was a nice even trade across the board, but initial fights need to be a little bit cleaner for the Cursed Cowboys. Maybe get some anti-heal online to deal with this Guanyu a little bit.
And honestly, both sides could use some anti-heal. Yemoja be able to pump out some of those healing numbers, as well as the Guanyu that you had mentioned. Brawlers picked up for Sneaky Dream. But other than that, there's no other anti-heal in this game. Sunder was picked up for the second row of support, as now Taz is the one that's going to fall. Kajona is going to pick up that kill. Sneaky Dream going to try to use the Fear No Evil, won't connect onto Mask. Kajonas was sitting right around the corner. Pala will connect, finds one chain, but the beads will be good to keep him alive for the moment. Sneaky Dream needs to be careful if they want to go back in, but Loshak's here going to find the knock up on top of Kajonas. The Gold Fury is still started by Clearly Hacking. He will force everybody off it right now, as Amish trying to find some extra damage to Loshak. Cataclysm comes out now, and the fight really wants to get going, but everyone's still slowly walking away. Amish right back onto the Gold Fury as Goose blinks to the backline, just try to slow down the Cursed Cowboys push-up. Damage going to be done, and Clearly Hacking will confirm the Gold Fury. Well, the fight afterward needs to be very careful. Mask's going to put a lot of damage into Loshak, and he will go down. Cavalry charge is out now from Goose, trying to find and stuns out Sneaky Dream. A very long stun, and once more the Petrify will connect with 2. KY picks up 1, and Alex is the one in a bad spot. 3 have fallen now for Cursed Cowboys. Vile looks like he might potentially be next, unless he can turn around this kill onto the Goose. Dashes into Grafley. Now you have to be careful, my friend. You can't go much farther than that, with the rest of Clearly Hacking nearby. Gold Fury goes their way, and they're going to head towards that Fire Giant.
Has just walked up, no wards on the Cursed Cowboy side to tell you where the enemy is. He walked up, 4 people jumped on him, he died. Then it was a 4v5. Cursed Cowboys, I think you could have showed a little bit of face, but farm up on the side lanes. Don't sit there and watch them just do the Gold Fury. They did the Gold Fury and then it killed you. That's not a good look when the whole team dies except Vile. As Persephone ult comes out.
Oh, connected out. Shot out of the Persephone player right there. KY now trying to find the return kill, potentially. Clearly Hacking will pick up the Fire Giant. A good snipe from Taz to put Geb in one spot. Could have potentially found a kill. Amish had fallen very, very low from that Fire Giant since KY had hopped out and took some DPS off of it. Imagine if that snipe kid actually gets a kill for Taz. That would have been amazing.
That would have been great for him. Sadly, it didn't. Spectral armor coming out for the Yemoja. The crit did come online from being masked. But I want to see it on Yorm. I want to see it on Humbets before I see it on the support right now. Because your dive is just insta-dying. And you need to find a way to live. Meanwhile, on the other side, there is no spectral armor when your Medusa has crit. But your whole team is dying before you able to do too many crits.
Gonna start jumping onto this tower. Exactly what it looks like. That breastplate has been started by Loshak to go into that spectral armor. Mid T1 tower will fall. Only the T2s left standing for the Cursed Cowboys. Clearly Hacking now in the driver's seat. Only up a little bit in gold after that Fire Giant sweep. They finally pulled the lead back into their favor, making it pretty much neutral. But, you know, these towers are going to fall very, very shortly. Could give them a little bit more of the lead if they don't go for this Phoenix in like we did see last game. They're going to go ahead and walk away and start shifting towards that mid lane.
Yeah, they're going to do the mid lane tower. I would love to see the Cursed Cowboys just give up these towers. It's not insurmountable deficit if you give up these towers. But if you lose this, it could be an insurmountable loss that you lose from this fight. Just give up the towers, let it go, farm up. Don't give up any unnecessary picks. But if you lose this fight inside the tower, it's going to be bad as Guanyu blinks in.
Cataclysm on the front side. Loshak going to get stunned out. River's Rebuke trying to separate this fight. Amish going to have to use his own shield on himself. Jonas had fallen low. He's going to go up to the top side now. Loshak under the ground. We'll see where the Serpent wants to go. Onto the back line of Clearly Hacking and now towards the jungle. We'll see if he's going to chase it all the way out. Fear No Evil also expected to get that kill. Sneaky Dream probably didn't need to use that one. Could have used it for this mid-4 people that are standing all on top of each other. Good defense so far for Cursed Cowboys, but the healing is even greater right now from the Guanyu. They're going to be able to re-engage this here very, very shortly. Emoji healing now Gonna try to sustain out their team. Both healers trying to put in as much work as they can. No ultimates for anyone except for KY and Mask. We'll have to see if they elect to use them to get this T2 tower. Alex is falling very, very low. Big knockup from Amish, but he's also now falling. Megusis uses his healing. He's able to bring his ultimate back in. Mass trying to find some damage with the ultimate. Not going to quite connect with anybody else, but he will end up getting a kill onto Sneaky Dream and give him a double kill on top of Loshak. Could find 3 here on top of Alex. He's got 3, and the other 2 health bars are very low. This is pentakill territory. He's got 4. He's got 5. Give the pentakill to Mass.
That's exactly what I said not to do on the Cursed Cowboys was the contest. The initial was great from them, but back up, like they got healing. They got Fire Giant healing. They got Guan Yu healing, and it looks like this Titan might be the answer for clearly hacking here with a penta off of the back of Mask.
Like, oh, what a great pentakill, man! He takes it. They're gonna take the game right off the back end of that 2-dog. That was exciting.
Yeah, it was too exciting. I think that was a great play from the team as BMS and Goose died to the fountain.
Oh, they're about to throw that and just be a little bit too toxic right there. Clearly hacking, taking it in a 2-0 fashion. A big pentakill off the end of the ADC from clearly hacking puts his team on the back on that mid T2 tower siege that leads them into the end. You know, we saw it game 1, 2-dog. They took tower in left and then took the left Phoenix. This time they're going to go straight down mid lane Phoenix and tower to end the game there. What a fantastic set this has been.
Hey, if you're the Cursed Cowboys, it wasn't a bad game. There's just a few defenses where I question like where you should have defended. There, you didn't have to go for the defend there. Like, you give up the towers, it's not an insurmountable amount of gold that you lost on that side. You guys had the lead before the Fire Giant, so it's not going to turn the game upside down. You're not down 7K where you have to make your last stand somewhere. That was a fight where in the start of the fight, you wasted a lot of time on the Fire Giant. So now they really can't siege a Phoenix. But you guys didn't just give it up at that point and say, okay, well, look, we won it. If you guys still want it, we can still make somewhat of a defense, but don't commit too much of your lives for it. And then they paid for it. They died. Like, their whole comp is, we're going to ult you into high heaven, and you're going to die. Now you don't have any ults. They're still healing from the Fire Giant. You're half health. You have 5 people with half health. They have 2 people maybe with 3/4 and then 2 people with full health, and they're just going to run it down your face and win the game.
And that's exactly what they did. They did it in a 2-0 fashion here. That'll be end of this set. We're going to go to a quick break and see if anybody from Clearly Hacking is around to maybe catch an interview here with Killjoy and 2-dog on the desk. But for right now, we'll see you on the other side of this break, and we'll close it out there. Welcome back, Reap Smite fans. Once more, I'm going to go to a black screen, and then my face will be back in 3, 2, 1. Surprise! Look at me. I'm pretty good at this sometimes. I do not have an interview, but 2-dog does, and he'll have it with the ADC for clearly hacking. He's on standby with Mass. Two Dog, take it away.
Hey, Mascot, congratulations on your win. So tell me a little bit about this Charybdis pick. I don't really see it a lot in scrims or anything. Do you have a preference on why you picked it so early in game two?
Um, well, I saw the Persephone was locked in, and to be honest, I kind of spammed Charybdis like four days prior, like all in Rick. So I've been playing her a lot, and I just knew that I would be able to get away from that Persephone ult, and then the fact that they drafted the Hunbats after was pretty nice, so it worked out well in my favor, and her kit just worked nicely into that team comp.
It worked real nice in that team comp. And then also game one, when you guys got first blood within the first minute of the game, tell me how did that feel? Even though your support ended up getting the last hit, shame on Amish, but tell me how it felt.
Well, Amish taking the last hit with autos isn't anything that is new to me. You know, he does that quite a bit, but you know, we have a Ymir on her. That's your typical kill lane level 2. So as soon as we knew his freeze was up and he initiated with the blink, we knew that was going to be first blood. And unfortunately, yeah, he did auto it because that 500 gold would have been nice.
That 500 gold would have been nice. Now, look, you're the one that got the penta kill. Now tell me how your team was reacting, or even how you were reacting when you got that penta kill.
Well, to be honest, I have to thank my team. They did most of the damage, and I just kind of cleaned up there at the end. But after the third kill, they were screaming pentakill, so I'm glad that they didn't take any of the last hits and was able to let me finish off Val and Taz there for the pentakill. And I think that's the first one of the season, so really hyped for that.
Well, that's all the questions I have. Killjoy, do you have any other questions for Mass?
Is there any other team that you like to shout out? I mean, it doesn't have to be your team, of course. Could be like beautiful casters that you had tonight as well. But any other shout outs that you have?
Well, you know, I always appreciate the casters and Rosie, of course, for driving the spectator, and just thank you guys and shout out to the team and to the Cursed Cowboys for giving us a good match. They're a really strong team.
It was an excellent match. And once again, congratulations on your 2-0 victory here tonight. Clearly hacking, adding another win to their column. This was Killjoy and Son of Two Dog bringing you guys the action tonight. Of course, we had the beautiful views from the one and only Red Rosie Panda. We'll see you guys later on this week for some more amazing matchups. But this is us signing off for now. Have a great rest of your night, Smite fans.